Hello all, this is Nandini, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science at Dr. S.N.S. Rajalakshmi College of Arts and Science. Now we are going to discuss about signal encoding techniques in computer network and data communication. So let's discuss. Basically, the signals are classified into two types. There are analog signal and digital signal. So analog signal, it is a continuous constant frequency signal, and the signal is also called as a carrier signal. So in this carrier signals frequencies, it is chosen to be compatible with the transmission medium, and in this carrier signal the data may be transmitted using a carrier signal by modulation. So the modulation is nothing but it is the process of encoding source of data onto a carrier signal with frequencies. So in this process, that input signals may be analog or digital. So this process is called as a modulating signal or baseband signal. So end of the result of modulating, the carrier signal is called as a modulated signal. So next one is the signal encoding techniques. It classified into four types. So there are digital data, digital signal, analog data, digital signal, digital data, analog signal, and analog data, analog signal. So let's discuss one by one. So the first one is digital data, digital signal. So the digital data is nothing but it is a sequence of discrete discontinuous voltage pluses. So the each plus is a signal element, and the binary data are transmitted by encoding each data bit into a signal element. It is classified into four characters. There are unipolar, polar, data signaling rate, and then the last one is modulation rate. So the unipolar, it is nothing but if the signal element they all have the same algebraic sign, so that is all positive or negative, then the signal is called as a unipolar signal. And polar is if the signaling the one logic state is represented by a positive voltage level and the another by a negative voltage level is called as a polar. And the third one is the data signaling rate. So if the signal is a rate in bits per second, that data are transmitted through a digital data signaling rate. And the last one is modulating rate. So the modulation rate at which the signal level is changed, the modulation rate is expressed in band, so which means signal elements per second. And second type is a digital data analog signal. So the most familiar use of this transformation is for transmitting digital data through a public telephone network. So the public telephone network was designed to receive and switched and transmitted analog signal into the voice frequency range. So it is not at present suitable for handling digital signals from the subscriber location. So thus digital devices are attached to the network via modem, so which convert digital data to a analog signal, and it is classified into three categories of a carrier signal. So there are amplitude shift key, second one is frequency shift key, and third one is phase shift key. So the amplitude shift key is also called as ASK, so which means the two binary values are represented by two different amplitudes of a carrier frequencies. So one of the amplitude is 0, then the one binary digit is represented by the present, that is past one, and the second one is frequency shift key. So it is called as a FSK. So the most of the common form of FSK is binary FSK, that is BFSK. So which is nothing but that the two binary values are represented by two different frequencies near to the carrier frequencies. And the last one is phase shift key. So it is nothing but the carrier signal is shifted to represented data, and this phase shift key is classified into three types. There are 2-level PSK, 4-level PSK, and multi-level PSK. And next one is analog data, digital signal. So the process of converting analog data into digital signal, This process is known as a digitization. So once analog data have been converted into digital data, a number of things can happen. So it classified into three most common outcomes. So there are the digital data can be transmitted using N or ZL. So in this case, we have in fact gone directly from analog data to a digital signal. And the second outcome is that digital data can be encoded as a digital signal using a code other than N or ZL, so thus an extra step is required. And the third outcome is that the digital data can be converted into an analog signal. And the last type is analog data, analog signal. So the analog data in electrical form, which can be transmitted as baseband signal easily and cheaply. So this is done with voice transmission over a voice grade line. So one common use of modulation is to shift the bandwidth of a baseband signal to another portion of the spectrum. So in this way, the multiple signals, each at a different position on the spectrum, can share the same transmission media. So this process is known as a frequency division multiplexing. So these are the four categories for signal encoding techniques. And next one is assessment. So the first assessment is what is signal encoding techniques, and second one is explain the types of signal encoding techniques. So these are the reference. Thank you.